Welcome back, everybody, to another beautiful day here in Sarasota, Florida, where we are headquartered hosting the show. But welcome back to the Crypto Sherpa Show, where I cover the latest cryptocurrency news articles to keep you informed on what's happening in this space. Now, I know everyone's talking about the Fed rate cut decision. Is it going to happen today? I don't know. It might be, but if you do think it's going to happen, hit a like on this video because, again, Bitcoin will go burr because of it. But what else is going on? I'm sure everyone in the crypto space is talking about the Fed rate cut, but what's really happening over in the US, UK right now? Just today, earlier, we got President Trump heading down there, and he got a very massive royal welcome there. Here we see some clips from Twitter. Here's his first royal welcome coming in here. Look at that. Wow. I've not seen a US president, or basically the US get the the view of how this is how it should be, how the rest of the world should. Wow. And then also, what else do we have? Trump was walking. This is funny. Here's Trump walking down the royal ahead of King Charles. And let's see, what else do we have? Him and King Charles were enjoying a military ceremony here too as well today. So lots of stuff's going on today down the UK. But really, it's probably because the UK kind of wants to adopt the US's crypto strategy. So they're going to be strengthening their ties with the US. And maybe that is why Trump is down there. Who knows what else they're going to be talking about? We'll get reports later on. But he did arrive in the UK at Windsor Palace. But let's talk about how the UK is strengthening its ties with the US on crypto and why crypto matters because of it. So the UK has discussed adopting a more crypto-friendly approach with the US in a bid to boost industry innovation and attract more investments to Britain. So the UK and the US are reportedly preparing to deepen cooperation on digital assets, with Britain looking to copy the Trump administration's crypto-friendly stance in a bid to boost innovation. Now, the UK Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, and the US Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, discussed on Tuesday how the two nations could strengthen their coordination on crypto. And the Financial Times reported on Tuesday that people familiar with this matter is happening. So the discussion also involved representatives from crypto companies, including Coinbase, Internet Group, and Ripple. And with the executives from the Bank of America, Barclays, and Citi also attending, according to reports. So there's a lot of people, companies, and institutions coming along with this. Now, the agreement was made last minute after crypto advocacy group urged the UK government on Thursday to adopt a more open stance toward the industry, claiming its cautious approach to the sector has left the country lagging in innovation and policy. Now, here is Rachel Reeves' tweet. Together, we are delivering investment opportunities for both our countries. It was a pleasure to welcome Scott Bessent to Downing Street today. And here they are, shaking hands. Now, the deal is to include stablecoins, look to unlock adoption. Yeah, so the deal is to include stablecoins, and this is to unlock the ability of adoption, which kind of we've been doing here with our Genius Act. But any deal between the countries is likely to include stablecoins. The Financial Times reported an area of crypto that U.S. President Donald Trump made a policy priority and in which his family has significant business ties. Now, the Financial Times reported on Monday that the UK crypto advocacy group also slammed the Bank of England proposal to limit individual stablecoin holdings to between 10,000 British pounds and 20,000 pounds, claiming it would be difficult and expensive to implement. Now, a UK banker appears to have slowed adoption too, with around 40% of the 2,000 recently surveyed crypto investors saying that their banks had either blocked or delayed payments to crypto providers. So definitely a lot of stifling of innovation happening. Now, many of these actions have been linked to concerns over volatility, fraud, and scams. So that's what they're saying. It's we're slowing down, we're canceling transactions because, volatility is risky. There may be fraud or scams involved. We're trying to protect you. No, they're trying to protect their money. Because again, when you deposit money to the bank, it's not your money anymore. It's a big illusion. If you want to know more about that, we're having a class on that tomorrow at the Crypto Club, just talking about the illusion of banks and the reality of again, they're claiming to say that they're stopping transactions because of volatility, fraud, and scams out there, but nah, they're just trying to hold on to their money longer. But the UK has made some progress on crypto regulation, recently proposing a framework in May that would see crypto exchanges, dealers, and agents treated similarly to traditional financial firms. Now, with strong compliance checks, particularly focused on transparency and consumer protection, Reeves reportedly hopes that a closer alignment of rules with the U.S. would give British companies more access to the U.S. markets and attract greater American investment. Now, one of the people familiar with this matter told Financial Times that there is a huge opportunity for the UK in digital assets, and the Trump administration's crypto stance was seen as as vital to unlocking adoption in Britain. Now, British officials reportedly said that that works, and it is already underway with the U.S. to develop digital security sandboxes where companies using blockchain and financial services can test the technology. Now, UK adults see long-term potential in crypto investing. So a recent study conducted by the UK insurance company Aviva found that 27% of the 2,000 polled adults were open to crypto in their retirement funds, with over 40% open to crypto saying that they were motivated by higher potential returns. Now, around 1 in 5 of the respondents, equivalent to about 11.6 million people, said that they hold or have held crypto, while about 2/3 of those said that they still own crypto in some capacity out there. So people are still interested in crypto around the world. But again, they've been stifled by innovation. There's like rules and regulations. It's like, oh no, we can't do this. It's illegal. It's bad. We don't want you to do it. But now the entire world's just realizing they got to get on board with this because, again, the U.S. is leading the pack with it all. We've seen so many changes happening with this current administration and everything. This cryptos, like with the Genius Act, we have the Clarity Act, we have a signed executive order for a crypto treasury, Bitcoin treasury, and also just companies around are still helping involve or get the U.S. like on the right track. Like, let's see, what do I have next? Is like Michael Saylor was here pictured in Washington D.C. reportedly to help advance strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. So yeah, so again, we are still making innovations here, but the rest of the world is noticing that changes are happening pretty fast and they got to catch up. So that is why we're seeing definitely Trump down at Windsor Palace talking about King Charles. Oh, sorry for the music right there. I was back on Twitter showing all this. And so, yeah, so the rest of the world is playing catch up right now. And they're watching the US, they're seeing what they're doing, how they're doing it. And again, their country and their people are saying, we need better rules. So now they're looking. But yeah, so that's our first article on what is happening in the UK and the US right now. They're creating a pact because they want to stop the stifling innovation in their country right now. So again, everyone's getting on the Bitcoin bandwagon, so you should too as well. Now, what else do I have in the news for you? We just saw MicroStrategy, Strategy CEO or former CEO, Michael Saylor. He was at the conference to help just, what was he doing again? He was pictured in Washington, D.C. to help advance the strategic Bitcoin reserve. It looks like they have another, his company Strategy agrees to a 5-year partnership with a strategic partnership renewal, extending Bitcoin for Corporations initiative. So let's hear about this. This article is coming from Bitcoin Magazine. But first, hold on, let me see what's going on. I think I have a couple shows not being streamed. Let's stream into some of your destinations. Hold on, I gotta take a look at the, sorry about this, guys. So let's see, interrupted. Oh, so I'm not streaming to a couple platforms. Well, we're still live on YouTube, so that's all that matters. But let's go through this article right here. So again, Bitcoin Inc. and Strategy Inc. have renewed their strategic partnership for Bitcoin for Corporations, the BFC. Now, this initiative is for 5 years, aiming to accelerate corporate Bitcoin adoption through 2030. Now, the initiative currently represents 38 members and companies holding at least 69% of all corporate Bitcoin holdings and will continue providing network, educational resources, and support for companies integrating Bitcoin into their treasuries. Now, in a significant development for corporate Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin Inc. and Strategy Inc. have announced a 5-year renewal of their strategic partnership for the Bitcoin for Corporations initiative. Now, this partnership aims to accelerate global corporate Bitcoin adoption through 2030, with the BFC currently representing 38 members and companies that collectively hold 69% of all corporate Bitcoin holdings. Now, the renewed agreement strengthens the BFC's position as the primary platform for Bitcoin treasury companies and service providers and capital allocators working to integrate Bitcoin into corporate balance sheets. Now, this initiative's global reach now spans North and South of America and Europe and Asia/Oceania. Now, securing this 5-year extension to our partnership with Strategy, it reinforces our conviction that corporate Bitcoin adoption is not slowing down and will only continue to accelerate, said Jordan McCall. He is the managing director of the Bitcoin for Corporations at Bitcoin Inc. And he said that I am grateful for the opportunity to continue our collaboration with the Strategy team and look forward to building on the momentum of an incredible first year of hyper Bitcoinization. And it is closer than we think. And I really do agree with that. Like with everything, just with how fast adoption is going on, it's like nothing's stopping it. So we are pretty much probably seeing the start of hyper Bitcoinization. So we got a slow little start going. Bitcoin's hovering 116, but guys, like that could skyrocket because Bitcoin again is a scarce asset. There's only 21 million, and these guys are gobbling up more than the average Joe. But this partnership will also continue providing executive level networking opportunities, investor relationship support, and access to educational resources tailored for corporations integrating Bitcoin into their financial operations. Now, members benefit from a vetted network of service providers and curated programming across global Bitcoin events in major cities, including Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, Hong Kong, and Amsterdam. Now, Strategy CEO Phong Le expressed enthusiasm about the partnerships and its extension, stating that we are excited about extending our partnership with BTC Inc. and continuing to support the mission of accelerating corporate Bitcoin adoption. So they are just increasingly going after like the corporate side. It's like, hey, we gotta get these companies involved because eventually that's going to trickle down to the normal people, the workers, the employees. Because again, as these companies adopt Bitcoin, what's going to stop them eventually from offering it in their salaries? So it's like, why would they not pay their employees in Bitcoin? So it's all just like a trickling down effect. Like the last cycle we had was all retail getting in the space. Great news for everything back in 2021 and all that. But now it's the corporation side. They are getting involved. And I first thought that was just going to be this cycle that was going to be happening. And then like next cycle, like in 2028, we were going to get like governments and all this stuff onboarded. But now it's like it's all happening at once. Corporations are involved. Plus we got institutions, we got governments and countries just onboarding Bitcoin right now. So we are definitely experiencing like a hyper Bitcoinization right now. So guys, I'm just saying, grab some Bitcoin while you still can, because it's going to get harder and harder once we really reach that hyper Bitcoinization. But supporting every corporate leader who is looking to implement the strategy playbook is good for Bitcoin, and we look forward to the ongoing collaboration with the BFC team over the next 5 years, he added. Now, the renewals comes at a time when corporate Bitcoin adoption is accelerating, with the BFC members representing a significant majority of corporate Bitcoin holdings globally. Now, this partnership extension demonstrates the growing institutional confidence in Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset and increasing importance of structured support for corporations entering the Bitcoin system. Now, the BFC will also continue to provide research reports, corporate case studies, and educational content to help corporate leaders implement Bitcoin treasury strategies based on their specific market and jurisdiction needs. Now, about Bitcoin Inc. Bitcoin Inc. is the parent company of Bitcoin Magazine, the original and most trusted source for Bitcoin news and education, and producer of the Bitcoin Conference, which is the largest and most influential Bitcoin event in the world. Now, it's headquartered in Nashville. BTC Inc. builds media, data events, and advocacy products that accelerate Bitcoin's adoption around the globe. Now, about Bitcoin for Corporations, the BFC. Bitcoin for Corporations is a Bitcoin Inc. flagship enterprise initiative offering corporations the tools and frameworks and relationships necessary to integrate Bitcoin into treasury and operations. Now, BFC supports leading organizations with education, strategic guidance, and access to a growing network of alignment and corporate executive investors and service providers. And if you didn't know about who MicroStrategy is, or Strategy Inc. is the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company. Strategy is a publicly traded company that has adopted Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset by using proceeds from equity and debt financing, as well as cash flow from operations. Strategy strategically accumulates Bitcoin and advocates for its role as digital capital. Now, Strategy's treasury strategy, that's a tongue twister, is designed to provide investors varying degrees of economic exposure to Bitcoin by offering a range of securities, including equity and fixed income instruments. In addition, Strategy provides industry-leading AI-powered enterprise analytics software, advancing its vision of intelligence everywhere. Now, Strategy leverages its development capabilities to explore innovation in Bitcoin applications, integrating analytics expertise with its commitment to digital asset growth. Now, Strategy believes its combination of operational excellence, strategic Bitcoin reserve, and focus on technological innovation positions itself as a leader in both the digital asset and enterprise analytics sector, offering a unique opportunity for a long-term value creation. Now, Strategy, MicroStrategy, Intelligence Everywhere are either trademarked or registered trademarks of Strategy Inc. in the United States and certain other countries. Other products and company names mentioned herein may be the trademark of the respective owners. Now, if you want more information about Strategy, you can visit their website, strategy.com. But that's information on who Strategy is, who the Bitcoin for Corporations are, as well as Bitcoin Inc. but they are extending their partnership for 5 more years. And oh man, like with all the companies like getting involved with crypto already, it's like I can't wait to see. Like, I'm sure these guys have helped along with that process, but for 5 more years, man, I cannot wait to see just how scarce Bitcoin is going to get. Because again, everything's public. We know how much Bitcoin each company has because it's public information. It's on the blockchain too. So if you don't have the site, you can just go check it out if you know their wallet address. But again, guys, like Bitcoin's being accumulated so fast right now. It's basically its own halving event. Like companies are buying more Bitcoin than the amount of Bitcoin that gets created per day, which is 450. So it's kind of like its own like a synthetic halving. Like these have been our catalyst points for Bitcoin's like pumping to its all-time highs, where the supply gets cut in half. When Bitcoin first started, you would receive 50 Bitcoin per block, and then that would go on for 210,000 blocks, and then a halving event occurs. Now 25 Bitcoin gets rewarded per block, and that has been going on since Bitcoin's beginning. And now we're at like 3.125 Bitcoin per block. And again, that's just going to keep going down. So there's really only 450 new Bitcoin a day. But that was always a catalyst point for Bitcoin, because we knew when how many coins are being distributed and released into circulation. So we knew a timeline when it was going to happen every time, which just made sense. For demand kept going up, supply went down. Simple basic business economics. So if there is still a high demand, but the supply is going down, price is going to go up. So that's how we kind of saw it. But all these companies out there are buying more. So they're calling a synthetic version of that going on. So I just see Bitcoin slowly just keeping on going up, and I don't think it's going to stop this time. But again, it's just a thought. It's not financial advice saying like go buy all your money in Bitcoin. Well, that's what I do. I hold all my assets in Bitcoin, but I'm just not saying that we're not going to have a dip, because again, everything's uncertain right now. We're in uncharted territories. Again, Bitcoin surpassed all-time highs before that happening, so we don't know what this cycle looks like anymore. Just it has changed. And so I just think, though, right now, with everything I'm seeing, with adoption-wise, it's going to keep going up. Now, speaking of adoption and more companies out there, MetaPlanet, kind of like the Asia-Japan MicroStrategy company, is expanding to the U.S. with new Japan units. So let's cover this article. So Japan's MetaPlanet launched subsidiaries in Miami and Tokyo to grow Bitcoin income and expand domestic crypto media operations. So MetaPlanet, the Japanese hospitality and real estate group, turned Bitcoin treasury company, is ramping up its crypto strategy with the launch of 2 new subsidiaries, one in the US and one in Japan. In a Wednesday post on X, the Tokyo-based firm announced that the establishment of MetaPlanet Income Corp, a wholly owned U.S. subsidiary based in Miami, will initiate with an initial capital of $15 million, according to its disclosure. The unit will focus on Bitcoin income generation and derivative trading, creating a structural separation between MetaPlanet's core Bitcoin holdings and a revenue-generating operation. Now, the subsidiary will be managed in part by MetaPlanet CEO Simon Gierevich, alongside Dylan LeClaire and Darren Winia. Now, the company also said that the move is expected to have minimal impact on its consolidated financial results for the fiscal year ending December 31st. Now, here is MetaPlanet's tweet on the notice of expansion of the Bitcoin income generation business through establishment of new U.S. subsidiaries, MetaPlanet Income Corp. And here is our filing of that. Now, MetaPlanet launches its new subsidiary in Japan as well. So back home, MetaPlanet also unveiled a Bitcoin Japan Inc. to strengthen its domestic Bitcoin-related operations. The entity based in Tokyo's Roping Hills will oversee media, events, and the management of Bitcoin.jp, a recently acquired domain. Now, the new Tokyo entity will also manage Bitcoin Magazine Japan and the Bitcoin Japan Conference, expanding MetaPlanet's reach into the domestic crypto media and community engagement. Directors Gierevich and Yokushiya Ikurumi will lead the initiative. Now, the twin announcement comes as part of the company's Bitcoin income business, which launched in the fourth quarter of 2024. The news also came shortly after the company revealed plans to raise 204.1 billion yen, or $1.4 billion, through an international share offering to expand its Bitcoin holdings. Now, MetaPlanet has become the 6th largest Bitcoin holder among corporations. With over 20,136 Bitcoin now on its balance sheet, MetaPlanet ranks as the 6th largest Bitcoin treasury holder globally, trailing only giants like MicroStrategy, according to the BitcoinTreasuries.net. So here we see them in 6th place. Above them is Bullish, don't even know who those guys are. We got the Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company, XXI, Mara Holdings, which is the mining firm, and Strategy leading the charge with 638,000 Bitcoin, almost 639. That is crazy. Now, the top 3 public Bitcoin Treasury holders are all US-based companies, led by Strategy, which holds the massive 638,985 Bitcoin, worth around $74 billion. And then it follows Mara Holding with 52,477 Bitcoin, valued at around $6.1 billion. And then XXI in third place, holding 43,514 Bitcoin, worth 507. Now, just those guys alone, like, let's do the math on that one. Let's just say it's 639 plus 43. So let's see, that would be 42 plus 40 is 80. So that's around 710,000 Bitcoin. Like, my math's probably wrong right there, but it's close to 710,000 Bitcoins just off the table in these guys' holdings. So, guys, these guys are holding for the long haul. So that's why I say it's going to get harder and harder to get Bitcoin, because at least companies keep buying. They're just holding for at least 10 years, I believe. I read that somewhere. So, again, that's just going to increase Bitcoin's scarcity and also increase its price and value. It's going to happen because, again, demand's going to keep coming, and if the supply is off the circulating supply, it just makes sense that the price will go up for it. And then there's other things that can cause Bitcoin's price to go up, like the Fed's decision on the rate cut out there, which is happening later today. Some say Bitcoin's price is already correlated with it already. It's in there, so there might not be any change happening when it happens, but usually the Fed rate cut is a sign of a catalyst point, kind of like the Bitcoin halving as I was talking about. But let's talk about this next article about the Fed's third mandate may devalue the dollar and send crypto soaring. This one's coming from Cointelegraph. And let me clear this thing out here. Take a look at the comments. Hey, Stephen, thank you for being here in the show. Love having you live. But let's see. Let's go through this article. So Donald Trump's latest Fed pick cited a third mandate for the bank to moderate long-term rates, potentially justifying yield curve control policies, which could boost Bitcoin. So a third mandate from the U.S. Federal Reserve could change long-term monetary policy if actioned, which could be a bad news for the dollar, but good news for crypto. The Fed has long been considered to have dual mandate, price stability, and maximum employment, but President Donald Trump's pick for the Fed governor, Stephen Moran, cited a third mandate earlier this month, sparking speculation on the future of central banks' monetary policy. Now, the third mandate is a statutory requirement buried in the Fed's founding documents, which states that the central bank actually requires 3 objectives: maximum employment, price stability, and moderate long-term interest rates. Now, the Trump administration appears ready to use this forgotten statutory requirement as justification for a more aggressive intervention in bond markets, potentially through yield curve control or expanded quantitative easing and money printing. Bloomberg reported this on Tuesday. Now, here is that little hidden thing in an old policy from the Congressional Review. So SEC 2A dot. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Open Market Committee shall maintain long-run growth of the monetary and credit aggregates commensurate with the economy's long-run potential to increase production so as to promote effectively the goals of maximum employment, stable prices, and it's highlighted right here, moderate long-term interest rates. So, yeah, so they want to be sure that your borrowing money stays cheaper over time. So they got to try to control that. But lowering the long-term interest rate. So the third goal has been largely ignored for decades, with most considering it a natural byproduct of achieving the first 2. But Trump officials are now citing it as a legal cover for potential yield curve control policies, where the Fed buys government bonds to target a desired interest rate. Now, Trump has long advocated for lower rates, calling the Fed Governor Jerome Powell too slow or too late in reducing them. And the administration wants to actively suppress long-term interest rates, and potential tools included increased Treasury bill issuance, bond buybacks, and quantitative easing, or just direct yield curve control. Now, lowering the long-term rates would reduce government borrowing costs as national debt hit records of $37.5 trillion. The administration also wants to stimulate housing markets by bringing down mortgage rates. Now, how is this a positive impact on crypto? Well, Christian Pusateri, founder of the encryption protocol Mind Network, said on Wednesday that the third mandate is financial repression, by other name, adding that it looks a lot like yield curve control. Now, the price of money is coming under tighter control because the age-old balance between capital and labor, between debt and GDP, have become unstable, he said. Now, Bitcoin stands to absorb this massive capital as the preferred hedge against the global financial system. Outspoken BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes also said it was bullish for crypto, suggesting that the yield curve control could send Bitcoin to $1 million. That'll be a 10x from here, and I would love to see that. Now, with the Fed, is this like a spam ad? Who's calling me? What is happening? Hold on. Yep. Romance scam in the works. I'll tell you about that after this article. With a Fed board member, Moran now confirmed the MSM is preparing the world for the Fed's third mandate, which is essentially yield curve control. Now, here in a summary by Bloomberg AI, the Federal Reserve's dual mandate, a price stability of maximum employment, but may be supplemented by a third mandate to preserve moderate long-term interest rate, cited by Donald Trump's pick for Fed governor. Now, that is kind of a little more in depth of what we just read in this article, but let's use ChatGPT's AI to break it down for those to want to understand a little bit more. So what is exactly happening is the Federal Reserve is like the money referee for the two main jobs that it has to do: keep prices from going crazy with inflation, or help people have jobs. That's its two jobs. But as in this article stated, there is also a third hidden job in there, which is to keep interest rates steady over time. So the price of borrowing money, we got to keep those low. But why does this matter? If the Fed starts really focusing on this third job, it might try to keep borrowing costs low for things like houses, cars, or government debt. Now, to do that, the Fed may need to print more dollars or buy lots of bonds, basically create money to push rates down. Now, what happens when you print too many dollars? Well, imagine you're at a carnival and suddenly they give everyone a ton of tickets. If everyone has lots of tickets, the prices don't really feel so special anymore, right? So the tickets aren't worth as much. Same with the dollar. If there are too many, each one buys you a little less, and we've seen that just with prices everywhere out there, especially with food and everything. But how does Bitcoin fit into all this? Well, Bitcoin is like the special prize token where there's a rule: only 21 million will ever exist. Nobody can ever print any more of it. So people worry that the dollar losing value, they might trade their dollars for Bitcoin. And then that can push the price of Bitcoin higher. So the simple chain of this all is the Fed tries to keep borrowing cheap. It goes to print more money, and then the dollar loses its value. People want a safer token. Bitcoin goes up. So basically that's what this article is really kind of pointing out, and how Bitcoin could benefit from it. So that's a lot of Bitcoin news right now. Did I have any other articles? Did I cover the mayor in Vancouver? No, I have not yet. But let's take a quick commercial break really fast. I've been going for half an hour now. So let's take a quick commercial ad, and we will be right back after these messages.
In a world where your data is...
If it plays, why aren't you clicking? Why aren't you playing my commercial?
In a world where your data is constant...
What is going on
in a world where your data
nowadays? It just does not want to play the
ad. In
ad,
a world where your data is constantly under attack,
you know what?
one company stands for
ad.
your
You just
digital...
want to see me take a sip of soda? Indulge in my bad habit, puff a vape. There we go. There's my break. I was going to play a Calyx Solutions crypto only computer ad because, again, when you're in crypto, you want a safe and reliable laptop that's holding your crypto on. Don't just use one that you use for everyday life. Browse those internet sites you shouldn't be doing in the bathroom, or even browse shopping on Amazon or Walmart. You want a dedicated crypto computer, and that should be your Calyx solution. So give them a call, text, or look at their website. But yeah, earlier I was saying, like, who's texting me right now? This is a romance scam out there. Guys, we need to be aware of these scams so you do not fall for them. If you're lonely, don't engage in this. Like, this is a person, just random number, I don't even know, never even got it. It just says, hello, how's your day going? And then a photo of some, I don't know, is she Asian? Is she whatever? I don't know. Scammer. All you should do when you get these is just, oh, I'm swiping. Oh, there's a little trash box. Delete and report as junk. That's it. That's how you stay safe in this crypto space. Don't engage them, even though if you know they're a scammer. Like, don't think, oh, I'm going to waste their time. I'm going to try to get something out of it. Just don't. That's where simple mistakes happen. Like back in the day, it wasn't a crypto-related mistake, but it was an Instagram mistake. Where it's like, oh, that's not my aunt. Let's see if I can troll them. I actually clicked on one bad link, and it actually gave them like the ability to change the password. And then I had to cancel my Instagram account, re-sign up for a new one, it just sucked doing the entire process. So the best thing to stay safe from scammers out there, like these romance scams, is just block it and ignore it. And that's it. And again, this was live happening right now, so it happens all the time. Scammers are going to scam. They're never not going to go away. They've been here in the very beginning of crypto. They've been here in just the days of age of money. They've been in the days when we're trading shells and cattle at the bartering system or whatnot. Just scams have always been around. We just need to know. We just need to stay up to date on what they look like so that way we can avoid them. Because again, we work hard for our money and we do not want to lose it at all. So that's a quick little update just on scams going on because it literally happened live on the show. Now let's go over this next article where Zooz, or Z-O-O-Z, taps Crypto.com to execute Israel's first corporate Bitcoin treasury. So again, more treasury companies are coming along the way and they're going to be stacking Bitcoin and hodling it. But Crypto.com will provide block trade execution, deep liquidity, and discrete settlement for Zoo's treasury purchase, and the company said that Zooz Power said on Tuesday it has selected Crypto.com over-the-counter trading desk to acquire Bitcoin for what it says will be Israel's first corporate Bitcoin treasury. As the dual-listed company advances a previously announced $180 million private placement due to close in the second half of September, but under the partnership, Crypto.com will provide block trade execution, deep liquidity, and discrete settlement for Zoo's treasury purchases, the company said. Now, we're proud to support ZOOZ Power in this important step of its treasury strategy, said Eric Anziani. Now, Crypto.com's president and COO, Zoo CEO Jordan Fried, said that the collaboration would accelerate Bitcoin's adoption in Israel as the firm builds a long-term reserve. Now, Zooz announced in July that it plans to raise about $180 million through a private placement to fund its Bitcoin reserve strategy, subject to shareholder approval. Now, the company has already closed an initial $5 million tranche and has called a special shareholder meeting for September 19th. Now, Crypto.com has been expanding its institutional services, including upgrades to its OTC suite and availability for the VIP clients in the US, positioning the desk to handle large price-sensitive orders for corporate treasuries. Now, Zooz, which trades on the NASDAQ and the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange under the ticker Zooz, says it expects to be the first company with listings on both markets to implement a long-term Bitcoin treasury. Historically, Zooz has focused on a flywheel-based power boosting technology that enables ultra-fast EV charging in grid-constrained locations. Now, the company cautioned that forward-looking plans remain subject to market regulatory and shareholders' risk in the line with statements filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. So that's what's going on over there in Israel. So I didn't know Israel didn't have any Bitcoin treasury companies out there yet. So I guess this is going to be the first one. So, hey, bullish news again for more Bitcoin adoption, just people acquiring it and hodling it. Now, who else is using Bitcoin around the world? Well, in Vancouver, Canada, looks like the city mayor has officially proposed to heat all city swimming pools with Bitcoin mining. This project could earn over $1 billion a year. That's pretty huge. So yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Let's listen to this little video from Twitter about this.
An idea to heat Kitsilano pool using Bitcoin mining was discussed at a conference in Vancouver today, an event Mayor Ken Sim also attended and spoke at. This afternoon's panel was part of the Learning Bitcoin conference this weekend at the Vancouver Convention Centre. The participants discussed how Bitcoin miners are essentially computers and the heat generated from them could be used to heat Kit's pool for use all year round, adding it could even make the city money.
It could make money.
Bitcoin would not only pay for the energy used to heat the pool, but there would be extra Bitcoin that could be then additionally sold to pay for services, to pay for lifeguards, to pay for more operational hours, to pay for swimming lessons. In fact, it would be the case that the Bitcoin mining facility at Kit's Pool would probably make the city maybe $1 million a year in profit.
Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is a fan of the idea. He was in the audience and spoke later in the day about his push to integrate Bitcoin into the city of Vancouver's finances. A motion passed by council last year directed staff to explore how the city could accept taxes and fees in the cryptocurrency and even convert some of the city's reserves into it. That report is due back sometime in the fall.
So sometime in the fall. So yeah, that's actually some pretty big news right there. Like, every city in the world to start utilizing Bitcoin mining in some way. These guys are using it for heating their pool, which is very creative, and it's like it can give their city extra income, because when they mine Bitcoin, like the guy once said, it can provide payments for the lifeguards. It covers all the heating expenses, so we don't have to cover that anymore. And plus, we can start putting that into like a treasury maybe as well. So every single city should adopt Bitcoin mining, and also if they do that, it's just strengthening Bitcoin's just security aspect of it. The more miners out there, the harder it is to try to crack that Bitcoin blockchain. And it already is theoretically like impossible right now, literally, to hack it. It's possible, it's probable, but it would cost way too much money. But the more Bitcoin miners out there and nodes running, it makes the cost to try to hack it even higher. So every single city should be doing this, and just find a creative way, whether you're in a frosted cold center of the world, like have Bitcoin mining, it produces a lot of heat. Have that heat your buildings instead, so that we don't have to spend electricity and money on the heating aspect. Just use the miners to do it. So there's many different things you can do with Bitcoin, and it can definitely benefit any city, country, person, company, state. Bitcoin just benefits everybody. So yeah, so that's pretty good news out there. And that's not the only thing happening down there. Even Mayor Ken SimCity for the great evening filled us with amazing food and company. Ken has put together a Bitcoin fund for Vancouver firefighters charity, cementing Bitcoin's adoption in Vancouver. So yes, not only are they going to be mining Bitcoin for their pools out there, they're putting it together for a charity fund for the firefighters. So they're helping improve their cities. So what cannot Bitcoin do? So I thought that was some pretty cool news. It didn't come in any articles, but I thought it was definitely worthy of sharing. Now, let's see, what else is going on? The downside of some crypto confessions out there. We hear stories all the time about like big gains, big winners. I invested this much in this coin and I made this much money. So people always like bolster about that news, but no one ever really talks about I bought this coin and then it went down to zero, because nobody ever wants to admit that. But again, when you dip into the altcoin space, like you just gotta automatically assume you lost that money right there and then. You can't just expect it so that it's going to go up. Alt season here, my coin's going to pump because they said all coins are going to pump, even the dead ones. It's like, no, nothing is guaranteed in this crypto space. Just get that straightforward. If you're going to put like $1,000 in some random altcoin, you better have done your research on it before you invested any of that money. And then also, just in the back of your head, expect it's going to go to zero. That is it. That's the only way you can really play a game. Because I see people all the time going, well, how reliable or secure is this? It's not secure with this trading. Like for me, like my portfolio, I just recently bought like at least 5 different decentralized exchange tokens out there. Yes, I know that they could potentially go to zero. I think they're already down like all 5 of those in total. Now it's like $400 down, but it's like, again, like they're like $100 each. But again, like I'm okay with that because I'm taking the chance right now on the timing of the market. I think altcoin season is going to play out. I think DEX coins are going to do very well. So that's why I put my money in there. I did my research. I'm taking the chance on that. You can copy what I did, like what coins I bought. Someone like QuickX or QuickSpace, DYDX. I got MinSwap. I bought some Jupiter, and I bought some PancakeSwap yesterday, and that actually went up 8%, which was nice. But no, I'm choosing those coins as my little portfolio. I still have some other altcoins out there: Hypercycle, Theta, Rose token. But again, this is my little portfolio I just shared with you. You don't have to follow. I'm not telling you to get involved with those coins. I'm just letting you know what I just put some money in. I'm taking that chance and roll. But again, that leads into this article about just how someone sold his family land for a token that went to zero. So again, nobody ever talks about like the crypto they invested in goes down. So I thought it was just worthy of sharing this article, just so you're aware. Assume like if you invest in the altcoin space, it could go to zero and you must be okay with that. If you're not okay with that, don't put your money into it, just saying. But crypto confessions. I sold family land for a token that went to zero. We all have stories, the wins that we brag about and the mistakes we'd rather forget. But the Street Roundtable is opening the floor for anonymous confessions from traders, investors, and builders who've lived through crypto highs and lows. So here's one anonymous person saying that my family entrusted me to sell inherited farmland and hold the cash safely. Instead, I put $60,000 into a token I saw trending on Telegram. The token was Squid. So yep, the Squid Games token. I remember when this came out. But with the name Month, it went to zero. And my relatives still think I'm holding the money in the bank account. So, keeping it secret and doing that. Now, when I first heard about Squid, I was convinced it was the next big thing. Everyone in Telegram groups called it the future of play to earn. They claimed it was inspired by Netflix's Squid Game and would launch an entire ecosystem where players could compete for rewards. People bragged about early gains, and I thought I had found a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Now, at the start, I watched the price shoot up daily from a few cents. It ran past $1, $10, $100, and then eventually over $2,800 per token in early November of 2021. Now, I dreamed of paying off debts, buying a home, and proving to my family that crypto was not just speculation, but the future. But then it happened. I tried to sell, but couldn't. Transactions failed, liquidity was locked, and the team had vanished. Within hours, Squid collapsed to near zero. The developers disappeared with millions, and investors like me were left with nothing but worthless tokens in my wallet. To this day, my family still believes the $60,000 is in a bank account, and every time someone asks about using the money for a new project or savings, I freeze. I feel ashamed knowing I sold land that had been in the family for generations only to lose it to a scam. I don't know how to tell them. Now, again, this is part of your due diligence. Do your research before you invest it. Sure, he just did some Telegram research. He saw what people were saying, but no, you really got to break down that research. Don't just listen to what people are saying in the Telegram bots, what's happening on Twitter. Like, look into the tokenomics. Like, all the account information is public information. So see how much the creators actually own. Like, do they actually own 95% of the token supply out there and only 5% out there is being traded? You want to pay attention to that. You want to know about like the token locked up liquidity, or like you want to look at the liquidity, like how much is in there. And again, who controls that? So there's a lot of stuff you got to do research on before just diving into a coin out there. So that was just one story that happened, and like more information about the Squid token. Again, that token surged 35,000% and then crashed to zero. And this was when Squid Games, the TV show, just came out on Netflix. I remember I was back in California hearing about it happen and then just going, man, sucks to be those people. But the Squid Games token was a play-to-earn project inspired by Netflix's hit show. It surged by more than 35,000% in just 3 days. And after October 2021, its launch, promising access to online play-to-earn tournament modeled on the series, the project went viral across Telegram groups and social media, and at its peak, Squid traded above $2,861 per token. Then on November 1st, developers executed what blockchain sleuths identified as a rug pull, cashing out millions in Binance Coin, while the Squid price crashed by 99.99%. To near zero within hours. The team later abandoned the project, claiming they were overwhelmed with the stress. Right. Now, the experts reply, the block whisperer. Now, he said that I've traded crypto for over a decade, even through Mt. Gox, and the 2017 ICO boom in the DeFi summer. Every cycle brings its own hype-driven disasters, and Squid was one of the clearest rug pulls of 2021. Unfortunately, you walked away straight into a textbook trap. So let's be clear, you didn't invest, you speculated. That Squid promised a play-to-earn game that didn't exist, and its smart contract literally prevented investors from selling. That's the hallmark of a rigged system. Any veteran trader would have spotted those red flags. So here's what you need to do now. Come clean. The $60,000 is gone. Hiding it from your family may feel easier today, but in time, the secrecy will cause more damage than financial loss. Study the pattern. Hype projects that explode 30,000% in days almost always end up the same way, a collapse. The Squid Game branding was never licensed, the site was never registered weeks before launch, and the inability to sell tokens was the ultimate warning sign. Now, rebuild with structure. Now, limit speculative plays to no more than a 5% of your portfolio. The rest belongs in assets with liquidity, history, and transparency. Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even traditional savings vehicles. Now, the lesson here isn't just about Squid. It's about discipline. Markets will always dangle lottery tickets in front of you, but real traders know those winners really last. So if you change your approach, this loss can be the tuition you pay to finally build a sustainable strategy. Now, the Block Whisperer has been trading crypto since 2013, runs a private trading group followed by thousands of retail investors, and has mentored new traders through everyday market cycle. But no, this is just like one story, which I'm sure there's many out there that just don't want to share what's going on. So again, just always do your research. If you're going to take that chance in the altcoin space, just again, do your research. Look at the tokenomics. Again, like if it says you can't sell your tokens, I didn't even know that was in there. Don't get involved. It's a red flag. So there's many ways you can do research, either Dex Screener, CoinMarketCap, Cointelegraph, CoinGecko, and just many other. Let's see, DeFi Llama. Check out the liquidity of the token too. So there's many places you can go to check out the history information about it. But yeah, so don't just fall on hype. Don't just trust, verify. That's the biggest thing in crypto. Again, if it's just speculative projects like, oh, they promising to do this, they're promising to do that, nothing is solidified right there. So you're just going to be speculative on that trade. If it goes to the roof, awesome, kudos that you were successful on it. But again, have in the back of your mind that it will go to zero, and you will probably be a lot better off for it. But that is it for all the news I have for you guys. So I want to thank you for being here. George Parker, he could have bought half a Bitcoin for that. Was it half a Bitcoin at that price time? This was back in 2021. So Bitcoin was around, actually, yeah, Bitcoin was at all-time high. So 69,000, maybe it was around like 70,000 around the time. November 2021. Let's take a look at the pricing right now. Let's see, when did, at that time, like, was it one half of a Bitcoin? Could he have bought a whole Bitcoin with that? And yeah, if he bought a whole Bitcoin, he would at least been doubled in that. So let's take a look at the all-time price charts. We're looking for November 2021. So here we go, September, October, November. Bitcoin's price was at $66,000. At the end of the month, if that's when he made that purchase, was at 50,000. So yeah, he could have bought literally over a whole Bitcoin or just slightly under. So you are so right, George. He definitely should have did that. But yeah, Bitcoin's price right now, though, is currently at 115. I'm thinking this is just due to speculation about the Fed rate cut. People are just waiting to see what happens. If he cuts it 25 basis points, I think this price will start going back up. And then what else happened? Oh, there was something in the news. I guess I didn't bring it up on this page. I had it on my laptop. But some dormant Bitcoin whale moved at least $117 million worth of Bitcoin to 4 different wallets out there, but it's been dormant for 10 years. This is Satoshi era Bitcoin. So it was noticed. There was really no news article on it, just a post. Actually, there was an article on it, but I just didn't need to cover that article about it, just saying like, yeah, this whale from Satoshi era moved this much Bitcoin to 4 wallets and 4 transactions. That's it. But no, big whale moved, and I don't know, is that in charge of this rate cut? I don't know. But no, I like seeing big things happening from the US and UK right now. I can't wait to hear more about Trump's visit and then what they're going to be talking about there. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I will be back tomorrow with some more crypto news. If you're in Sarasota, we're having our Thursday crypto meetup on altcoins at 6 p.m. So bring friends, bring family, enjoy some pizza, and just enjoy the crypto community we have here at the Sarasota, Florida location. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Have a great day. Peace.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.